When you play the Game of Thrones,
Subscribe and like.
you die. There is no middle ground.
Alright, welcome back to the Grease Goblins YouTube channel, and yes, by the title, the thumbnail, and from past videos, you guys can tell I'm not a huge fan of Hoster Tully and some of the actions he takes in the main A Song of Ice and Fire series, or I guess I should say, in the lead-up to the A Song of Ice and Fire series. And why is that? Why is there so much about Hoster Tully I don't like? And I've kind of been sitting on this topic for a while, and I've been waiting to kind of discuss it, but I want to look at the character of Lysa Tully. So Lysa Tully, in a lot of ways, is the reason the main story is allowed to happen. She is manipulated by Littlefinger to have her husband killed and Jon Arryn. This leads to everything that happens later in the story. Ned Stark becoming Hand of the King, not helping, the Starks, all of that stuff. And I look at Hoster Tully and his actions. So for you guys that maybe don't know, you're only show watchers, or haven't read the series in a long time, you know that Lysa Tully actually got pregnant by Littlefinger. Now, it's interesting because Littlefinger himself actually thought this is Catelyn. He says a number of times that he took Catelyn's maidenhead. We know that's not the case whatsoever, that he actually, while being drunk, got Lysa pregnant. And we see a lot of this confession from Hoster Tully, who feels guilty about this later in his life. And we see this playing out in Catelyn 5, A Clash of Kings. And one of the things I've really thought about with Lysa is I believe that Hoster Tully, not only did he screw up his daughter for the rest of her life, but he also ruined, I think, her life in a lot of ways. Because let's break down what happens. So Lysa Tully is in love with Littlefinger. We see that it drives her to do some crazy stuff later on in the series. In one fell swoop, did not only Hoster basically make it to where Lysa had to abort her child against her will. Lysa did not want to get rid of her child and wanted to be with Littlefinger. Hoster said no. And again, I know why you guys are going to say, oh, well, of course Hoster did that. Littlefinger is not really worthy of her. And Lysa was needed to bring the Robert Rebellion Alliance together. And whereas I think that is, understandable, I also think this is the well-being of your own daughter. I mean, could you think about what Hoster does to his own daughter just for power and gain and things of that nature? I just think it's crazy. And I also want to go a step further. Let's think about what happens afterwards. So Lysa gets married to Jon Arryn, who she doesn't like. He's an older man. Of course, Lysa doesn't want to go with Jon Arryn. He's not an attractive guy. He's not of her age. He's like double her age, if not more. And what happens next? So Lysa really struggles at having children. She has a number of miscarriages, and also she has Robin, who is not really that healthy of a child and likely could die very soon because of his issues that he has with this shaking kind of sickness or whatever that he has in the main A Song of Ice and Fire series. And so not only do I think that Hoster basically killed what Lysa viewed as her own child because she wanted to have the child, it's not a situation where Lysa didn't want to have the child and then she aborted it. It's Lysa actively viewed this as this was going to be her child with Littlefinger. And so I look at this and I go, I think that Hoster likely, because of what he did and how he forced Lysa to have an abortion, he screwed up her reproductive system. Abortions in medieval times are very different than modern day abortions, and that's a whole different topic. But here, I just think, and I look at this and I go, Lysa all of a sudden cannot have children that well, while as her sister Catelyn has children with literally no problem. Pops out a good amount of children almost right away. Catelyn believes that she had Robb the first time her and Ned slept together. And here is Lysa, not being able to have that. Now, is that also because Jon Arryn is an older man? And maybe that had something to do with it as well, that Jon Arryn really, something along the lines of him trying to get Lysa pregnant, something just never went right. Maybe their DNA didn't mix well, and Lysa herself, maybe because of the abortion that she had, struggled with having children. I don't know. I'm not a woman. I'm not a doctor. But I do believe that Hoster, in a lot of ways, led to his own family being destroyed. Because everything that would happen with Lysa Tully in the future, yes, we can blame Lysa Tully because she's being manipulated by Littlefinger, this person that she's in love with, all of the stuff that she's always desired and wanted since being a child. Yes, she kills Jon Arryn. She allows for a situation where Ned Stark, her brother-in-law, is able to be killed basically because of Littlefinger. She allows for a war to spark out, endangering Catelyn and all of the children that Catelyn has, and she does nothing to help. Yes, I dislike Lysa as much as the next guy. But I also can sit here and go, Lysa was put into a really horrible position. She was betrayed by her own father. Her mother was not alive at this point. Her mother couldn't protect her. And look at the duality of the lives, right? Lysa goes off to the Eyrie, not a great place to live. People don't love it there. For instance, when Sansa goes there, Catelyn goes there, they don't describe it as being that pleasant. Lysa is married to an older man, and she struggles with having children, and she can't marry the person she really wanted to. Now, Catelyn, on the other hand, doesn't have the best situation either. She was originally supposed to marry Brandon, who she really liked Brandon. He was a very attractive person. Ned was not so, but she came to love Ned. She came to really like him and had multiple healthy children with him. And Winterfell is definitely better described than, say, the Eyrie in terms of living there. So, in a lot of ways, Lysa is jealous of Catelyn. Catelyn, in a lot of ways, is living the life that Lysa never got to. Living in a great castle with a husband that she came to love, having a lot of children. That is never the case for Lysa. And so Lysa really is wanting the life that Catelyn already got. And not only that, but Littlefinger was in love with Catelyn, not Lysa. And that's proven even up to Lysa's own death. So I sit here and I look at this, and I think Lysa and Hoster Tully are this almost hidden tragedy in A Song of Ice and Fire because of what war does, of how the system works, where fathers have complete control over the lives of their daughters and all of this stuff. It's very much like a reflection of what we see with Jaehaerys in his reign. He struggles with his daughters, and a lot of the same themes we talk about with Hoster Tully are present with Jaehaerys as well. And I know a lot of people defend Hoster Tully because this was very normal during medieval times. I still look at this and go, this was a horrible thing. Like, think about Ned, for instance. Ned would have never done this to Arya. Hoster wanted people to marry who he said and all this stuff. He pushes away the Blackfish, for instance. He makes Catelyn marry the brother of the man that she was supposed to marry, that was supposed to be her forever husband, that she was really, in love with. And yes, it worked out for Catelyn. Doesn't mean it was a horrible situation. And it's something that always was between Ned and Catelyn was Brandon. So thank you guys for watching. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the character of Hoster Tully. Am I a little overcritical of him? Do you hate the way he went about things with his family, especially Lysa? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye, guys.